Tonight, local lawmakers are making the top priorities of northeastern Minnesota heard at the state capitol. Plus, with the trial of the police officer accused of murder approaching, we're hearing from George Floyd's family and what they expect to happen. But first, a woman is in custody after a 5-hour standoff with Superior Police. What we know tonight.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
This was the scene from a police standoff in Superior this morning. Tonight, we're learning one person involved is behind bars. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Kristen Bakke. Superior Police say the incident started as a disturbance call and escalated from there, leading them to call in the emergency response team. It all happened near 19th Street and Banks Avenue. CBS 3's Natalie Grant brings us the latest details tonight.
Kristen, police arrived here just after 6:30 this morning. They came following a neighbor dispute that quickly escalated. Now, according to the Superior Police, a woman in the upper level of the duplex threatened a downstairs neighbor with a hammer and later a knife. She also allegedly bit the victim and threatened to blow the duplex up. Authorities evacuated the bottom level of the home. The emergency response team and crisis negotiators then arrived, asking the woman to exit the home for several hours. Now, around 11:45, authorities began using chemical irritants. Shortly after, they say the home was on fire. The woman then jumped from the second floor window and she was treated at the scene and taken into custody. The Superior Fire Department quickly was able to put out the flames. Now, the Superior Police say that there is no threat to the public at this time. We don't know the condition of the woman that jumped from that second-story building. This is a developing story, and we'll continue to bring you details as they become available. Kristen.
All right, thanks, Natalie. Dave's here for our first check of the weather. Dave, nice sunshine out there today.
There sure is, and so I'm verifying the fact that it's still out there for some towns, which, of course, we're pretty close to sunset.
Yes.
So it's starting to fade away, but it's fading away on a pretty bright and blue day, thanks to high pressure still holding on to our region. So today, you don't see hardly any clouds in the sky here in our region, except up into the arrowhead here, where those clouds, just like the last couple of nights, have kicked out some very fine flurries that really don't add up to much once they reach the ground. Tonight should be on the partly cloudy side, and maybe another good night for taking a look at what's going on up in the sky. Here's a live look at what's going on towards Ascove there, and as the sun sets, it's getting a little more yellow and a little more orange, making for a very beautiful picture. Tomorrow's forecast picture says more of the same: sunnier sky, warmer temperatures, low temps tonight likely in the teens for most towns, and after a bit of a cool down for lakeside communities today, we go back towards 40 region-wide tomorrow. And by the back end of the weekend, we could be talking 50. I'll talk about for how long we'll talk about temps like that in just a few more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. Lawmakers representing northeastern Minnesota are banding together to get things done in St. Paul. With help from the city and St. Louis County, the Duluth Area Chamber of Commerce has wrapped up its 24th annual Capitol Days event. For the past 2 days, leaders have discussed their goals for this year's legislative session. A main talking point was broadband internet access, something Senator Tom Bach of Cook says is lacking, especially after last year's switch to distance learning.
I talked to my own school superintendent in St. Louis County Rural Schools. 80% of the households in the St. Louis County School District were underserved. 80%. Well, that's just unacceptable.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz delivered the event's keynote address this morning, saying his goals are clear: emerge from the pandemic together and assist those who have lost the most.
Let's make sure we come out of COVID and make it right for those who got hit the hardest. Our children in schools, our small businesses, and those families, especially those in the hospitality and entertainment industry that were hurt during this. And then let's look towards the future.
Lawmakers also recognize David Ross for his work leading Duluth's Chamber of Commerce for more than 2 decades. He is set to retire later this summer. We're just several days away from the start of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin's murder trial. Now prosecutors are putting the time his knee was on George Floyd's neck at about 9 minutes. The time has fluctuated before. It was given an 8 minutes and 46 seconds in an initial criminal complaint. Then a math error was corrected to put it at 7 minutes and 46 seconds. But filings since then, citing time-stamped police body camera video, now place it at about 9 minutes. It's unlikely the evolving figure will matter at Chauvin's trial on murder and manslaughter charges. A support group for victims of police violence also says the discrepancies won't make a difference. Jury selection in Chauvin's trial begins on Monday. George Floyd's family is preparing to face Chauvin in court. Floyd's uncle spoke with Susan Elizabeth Littlefield about his feelings toward the former officer and the possible outcomes of his nephew's case.
It was a loss felt round the world, shock, sadness, and anger. But few felt it deeper than Selwyn Jones.
Imagine your sister's son was lying in the street. He goes from hollering, screaming, begging, pleading.
George Floyd's uncle, who lives in South Dakota, says he's feeling steady going into the trial.
My emotions don't go up or down. My emotions were determined on May the 26th when I found out that somebody murdered my nephew. And ever since then, I've just been full steam ahead.
He's joined advocates around the world rallying for change, being praised for that work in a GQ magazine spread.
And it all comes from the love that I have for my nephew. All comes from it because I don't want nothing to happen to your babies.
But his focus for the next few weeks will be on the trial of Derek Chauvin.
I'm not mad at Derek Chauvin. I'm mad at how the system was invented. The system taught him how to do these things.
But he does want accountability.
Is there any outcome that would give you comfort?
I want the court system to show that his life did matter. And not sentencing this dude to any substantial prison time will show it was just another dead black dude.
He's asking supporters for prayer and peace.
Do not result to looting or violence in any way, shape, or form.
And he hopes the trial over his nephew's death will change lives.
If we could get this bias and come out even, I think that we have a chance to move on to make the world a better place.
Dozens of Floyd's family members will come into town this weekend. A judge will decide which one of them gets to actually be in the courtroom. A bill aimed at investing millions to end systemic racism throughout Minnesota had its first hearing at the state capitol today. The bill is named after Philando Castile, a black man shot and killed by police in St. Paul. If passed, it would invest $375 million throughout the state to fund African American and African immigrant organizations. A group gathered Sunday in Duluth to support that bill. Family and friends of a Northland teen shot and killed last year are now working to end gun violence. People rallied outside the St. Louis County Courthouse today in memory of 16-year-old Joseph Peterson. Peterson died in late December on the Fond du Lac Reservation. 18-year-old Joseph Forencom is charged with firing the shot that killed him. Peterson's family says shootings like this are too common and more needs to be done to end gun violence. They say young people in the community are leading that effort.
So they've been out here for 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just coming out here to create an awareness for change.
They rallied this week because Forencom had a court hearing today. Prosecutors added a third-degree murder charge to the second-degree charge Forencom was already facing. He has pleaded not guilty. A Minnesota expert is slamming states that have relaxed their COVID-19 restrictions. Michael Osterholm is an epidemiologist and infectious disease expert at the University of Minnesota. He says with variants spreading quickly in the U.S., now is not the time to be letting our guards down.
And everything that the governors are doing right now to relax all the public health recommendations that we've made are only going to be a major invitation of this virus to spread faster and farther.
Osterholm is referring to states like Texas, which recently rescinded its mask mandate and started allowing businesses to operate at full capacity. A limit will be enforced for crowds at most Minnesota high school tournament games and events. Minnesota State High School League officials said crowds this month and next month will be limited to 250 people. The league executive director says the goal is to allow 1, maybe 2 family members of each athlete to attend. Each team will receive a limited number of tickets and the general public cannot attend. Officials say about 45 schools will be required to hold state tournament quarterfinals in basketball and wrestling. A big debate between Wisconsin state superintendent candidates who clashed on topics about reopening schools and teacher unions. 2 superintendents from school districts in the southern part of the state, Deb Kerr and Jill Underly, squared off in a virtual debate today. Underly touted her endorsement from the statewide teachers union. Kerr is pushing for schools to reopen, but Underly says larger districts face challenges, others do not. The election is on April 6th. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, the football season may be over for the Minnesota Vikings, but their training center is still in use and not for what you might think.
Well, let's talk about today's records. 19 below is the record low from 2019. And 19 years before that, in the year 2000, we hit the top temp at 56. This weekend, we might get close to that. This warm spell's continuing and growing, but it won't last forever. We'll talk about when it will cool down again coming up after the break.
When severe weather hits, tune to CBS 3 for up-to-date coverage morning and night.
Welcome to Medical Insight, a weekly healthcare feature brought to you by the experts at Essentia Health. Here's your host, Louis St. George.
Today on Medical Insight, Essentia Health cardiologists Kalkadan Bishu and Kimberly Boddicker talk about the Mitra Clip, a transformative technology that treats congestive heart failure in a minimally invasive way.
The Mitra Clip is a small device that is used to treat a leaky valve in the heart.
It is placed inside via a catheter, so no open incisions. The catheter goes up to the heart, and then basically the clip pulls the 2 leaflets of the valve together.
Really, its job is to hold the 2 mitral valve leaflets together and keep blood flow going in the wrong direction, backwards into the left atrium and then the lungs.
Symptoms of severe leakiness include increased fluid retention, bloated bellies, swollen legs, problems sleeping, shortness of breath, an irregular heartbeat, and fatigue.
So by getting rid of this leakage, we can improve the pressure within the left atrium and within the blood vessels inside the lungs, and thus improve shortness of breath symptoms. So the goal is to improve symptoms, and with improvement in symptoms, patients are able to do more and thus improve quality of life.
Oftentimes, we can see a result while we're still in the lab doing the procedure. So people who are sick enough to require the mitral clip, a lot of their blood flow is going backwards every time the heart squeezes, even though it's supposed to be going forwards. And so we measure that real time by blood pressure monitoring, by other catheters in the heart. And oftentimes, as soon as we close that, their blood pressure improves, and we can tell that the fluid levels or the blood levels are moving in the right direction.
For Medical Insight, I'm Louis St. George.
To learn more about this and other health topics, visit essentiahealth.org/medicalinsight.
Amazing power, amazing speed, one ultra cool price. Take your internet to the extreme, starting at $19.99 a month for 1 year. Experience blazing hot speeds from 60 meg up to 1 gig. Turn up the intensity with powerful in-home Wi-Fi and stay chill with 99.99% network reliability. Get extreme internet, starting at $19.99 a month for 1 year. Dial 844-EXTREME2.
3 women are dead. Someone wants us to stop looking at these murders, and we are in the dark. What matters here is the victims. I'm just trying to find out how deep this goes.
The hardest part of this job is learning that it is not about you. The team, take care of your own.
Sir, I'm after the truth.
Let's bring these guys down together.
CBS3 News is brought to you by Duluth Casino. CBS3 Weather is brought to you by Heritage Window and Door. Now, the CBS3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Well, let's talk temperatures. The warm spell continued today, especially for folks inland, but an easterly wind did make it cooler by the lake, so brought high temps down to about normal. Normal is 30 this time of year. That was achieved on Park Point and at Silver Bay, and Ashland beat it by a degree. But again, once you got farther inland, 42 Grand Rapids, 45 for Orr, 43 in Hayward. The warmer than normal trend continued and likely will continue through the weekend. In fact, by the second half of the weekend, instead of talking 30s and 40s, we just might be talking lower to even mid-50s for a couple of days before reality returns next week. So we will cool down after about day number 6. Day number right now at the airport, 27 is what we have. 78% is the relative humidity. Easterly, southeasterly wind. It's running 7 miles per hour. And 30.41 inches of mercury is our high barometric pressure reading from the 3 big cells of high pressure that have got a hold of 50% plus of the United States here for the next several days. Current temps, Upper Peninsula run 29 to 32, and in northern Wisconsin, they're going from 27 to 34 degrees. If you're talking about La Pointe, Solon Springs, but if you take a run down towards Hayward and Cable and Trigo, 38 degrees there, 36 Moose Lake, nothing to sneeze at. Down to 28 though in Cloquet, 27 Hermantown and Silver Bay, but still 39 towards Ely and Babbitt, 33 Hibbing, 38 International Falls. Low temps tonight, probably the teens for most towns, though 20 straight up could be achieved for some lakeside communities. Doppler map right now, well, it was showing clouds in the sky, few and far between, again, from the trio of high-pressure systems that's dominating from northern Florida up towards, parts of Montana, holding at bay a low-pressure system that may come our way in a couple of days, but not very quickly. Friday to Monday will be dominated by the highs, so we'll be warm, and we should be pretty sunny as well. But Tuesday's the day of change as a low-pressure system from Alberta finally clips its way towards our region, brings up the clouds, kicks up a 30 to 60% chance for a mix from Tuesday to Thursday. And once it starts to pass by our area, getting closer to Thursday, we will dial down the warm spell back into the 30s. Still warmer than normal by a bit, but we won't be in the 50s forever, that's for sure. Tonight in Minnesota, low temps in the teens, unless you're right by the lake or down towards Moose Lake, you get the lower 20s. Partly cloudy sky. And in Wisconsin, Michigan, low temps there about 15 to 18. For tomorrow, Wisconsin and the UP runs 40 to 45 degrees, even closer to the lake. So the cooler by the lake business will fade away at least a little bit. For Minnesota, high temps 38 to 43 degrees with sunshine. And eyeing up this extended forecast, it stays sunny through Saturday, near 40. We spike up to 48 on Sunday, 50 on Monday, 53 degrees on Tuesday, just in time for that low to start creating the clouds and drop probably rain showers Tuesday with a high of 53, going to a chance for a mix on Wednesday with a high of 45. Then we drop to the upper 30s come Thursday, Kristen, and that means the precip may shift over to snow showers. So we're not done with winter yet, but boy, we're getting a spring-like break here this weekend.
Yeah, a little teaser for when real spring actually arrives.
Weather all around here is always a teaser, and sometimes it drags out the tease for months.
Yes, it's a roller coaster
we stick it
ride.
out,
but
and we grin and bear it.
Yeah, we sure do. Thanks, Dave. 2 Northland groups collaborated today to provide food to those impacted by the pandemic. The Duluth Area YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club of the Northland distributed more than 30,000 pounds of food. Anyone could pick up the free boxes, which were available at 2 locations, the YMCA in Hermantown and the Heritage Center in Duluth.
So we had cars lining up 3 hours early, so it just shows how big of a need there is. And with us just being open for the first starting now, we're already seeing a ton of people coming through and using this service. So we're happy to be able to provide it for the community.
These boxes included pre-cooked meat, fresh produce, and dairy products. The Minnesota Vikings are teaming up with state health officials to administer more than 13,000 doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Governor Tim Walz announced that the team's training facility, the Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center in Eagan, will become a temporary community vaccination site this week. The site will run from Friday to Tuesday, open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Vaccinations will be by appointment only for healthcare workers and Minnesotans ages 65 and older. The governor says this partnership with the Vikings is an example of the state's growing vaccine network and another step toward a return to normal. Coming up in sports, 2 UMD women named WCHA Players of the Year. Who they are, coming up.
Dominate any terrain on a Polaris snowmobile from Duluth Lawn and Sport.
CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
During Home's preferred customer event, get an extra 10% off sale prices on any purchase, including bedroom, dining room, living room, and more. And free no-contact shipping. Hurry, the preferred customer event ends Wednesday, only at Home Furniture.
Come on down to Hannah Johnson Fabrics and Sewing Studio in Lakeside Marketplace. Don't know where to start? Visit our new sewing classroom and studio. Whether you're a brand new sewist or you've sewn for years, we have a class for you at Hannah Johnson Fabrics. We'll help you get your projects going with our huge selection of high-quality designer and specialty fabrics. Our friendly staff will help you find exactly what you need. Come see us in person or register for classes online at hannahjohnsonfabrics.com.
Whatever your water worry, Culligan Water can help. With over 40 filtration systems, including the world's best softener, no one filters more than Culligan Water. The only water that comes with a van. Contact Culligan, the local water experts.
What's your favorite day of the week? Well, it could become Thursdays at Duluth Casino. Every Thursday through March 25th, it's Kiosk Cash with up to $88,000 in cash and prizes available. Qualified Players Club members can play the game at the kiosk to receive up to $500 in cash. And you can participate up to 3 times each Thursday. For more details, stop by the Players Club or log on to FondDuluthCasino.com. Thursday Kiosk Cash gives you another reason to
have a great time out at Duluth.
We can help you at Ketamine North Infusion Center.
In public safety, we see things that sometimes you can't unsee. After these infusions, everything just kind of turned around and I was able to start enjoying things again.
To learn more, give us a call or visit us online.
For working with individuals here, that's probably my favorite part because you get to hear their story and everything that they've been through. Walk the mall, we go to movies, anything they want to do, it's all their choice and it's always usually really
Join
fun.
our team of supportive and creative individuals. Visit trilliumservice.com or call today to set up an interview.
Our experience with Heritage Window and Door was great. My wife called and got someone right away, which is really great to actually speak to a live person. Very painless, very easy process. One of the things that we were really looking for was not only a high-quality window, but really the installation itself. As a homeowner, you really want your window installation done right the first time, and that's not always the case with other companies, and with Heritage Window and Door, that was the case. It was a great experience.
Home Seasonal Concepts is now open with the largest selection of outdoor furniture on sale. Plus, get a free fabric upgrade on custom or special order cushions and slings from Homecrest Outdoor Living and Tropitone. And free no-contact garage drop shipping. Now at Home Seasonal Concepts.
Join us weeknights. We're live at 5 as we go around the Northland, city by city.
The awards continue to pile in for the UMD women's hockey team. After its best defensive effort in program history, Ashton Bell and Emma Soderberg have been named Players of the Year for their respective positions. Soderberg becomes UMD's first ever WCHA Goaltender of the Year selection, a 3-time WCHA Goaltender of the Month, as well as a 3-time Goaltender of the Week, and was already named the WCHA's 2021 Goaltending Champion earlier this week. Soderberg finished the regular season with a WCHA lowest goals against average at 1.34, which if she holds on to would rank her the 3rd lowest single season goals against mark in UMD history. Soderberg is currently a top 8 finalist for the National Goaltender of the Year, which will be announced the weekend of the NCAA Frozen Four. Meanwhile, her teammate Ashton Bell is just the 3rd defenseman in program history to be selected to the league's Defenseman of the Year. Bell ranks 2nd among all defensemen in the WCHA with .75 points per game, average after registering 3 goals and 9 assists for 12 points in 16 regular season skates, which also ranked her 7th in the NCAA. The senior team captain owns the highest plus-minus rating among her peers at +19, which also ranked her 2nd among all positions in the league. There are only a couple weeks left in the Minnesota high school hockey season. One of the biggest matchups left on the schedule happens to be tonight. The top team in Class A, the undefeated Hermantown Hawks, headed north to take on the 4th-ranked team in Class AA, Grand Rapids. They've already played against each other once this year. The tightest game in Hermantown has had so far. It was tied at 3 into the final minutes of the 3rd when Aaron Pionk scored, followed by an empty netter to ice it for the Hawks. And of course, that's our My 9 Sports Game of the Night. You can catch it live on the CW since the WIAA State Basketball Tournament is on My 9 tonight. Puck drop set for 7 o'clock. Spring training off and running for the Milwaukee Brewers. Even though they had a Cactus League game today, their front office was probably busier than their players were. Earlier this morning, reports emerged that the Brewers had reached terms with a new outfielder, former Red Sox slugger Jackie Bradley Jr. It's a 2-year, $24 million deal that includes an opt-out after the first year. On top of that, Milwaukee County Health Commissioner Kristen Johnson approved a plan to allow 25% fan capacity at American Family Field this season. That'll be about 12,000 fans. Tailgating won't be there yet either. Brewers had requested 35% capacity. That's going to do it for sports. We'll have more back here tonight at 10. Kristen, back to you.
All right, thanks, Brian. Tonight on the CBS3 News at 10, the Vice President cast the tie-breaking vote this afternoon for the Senate to officially begin consideration of the President's American Rescue Plan. Republicans, though, are vowing to slow down the process. We'll have the details from Washington tonight at 10. A Minnesota dad's dedication to a wintry backyard thrill ride leads to a decades-long luge legacy. This speedy luge ride in a Minnesota backyard didn't pop up overnight. In fact, it's a product of decades of design. Paul Swanstrom, a former teacher, uses homemade tools and hard-earned know-how to craft his annual Thrifty Thrill ride. Swanstrom's legacy of luge started as a project for his son in the early 1970s, and since then, he's built at least 25 slides, evolving the design over time through trial and error. Boy, that looks like a lot of fun, and if there's still enough snow, you've had good weather to go have fun like that.
Yeah, snow's going to be iffy this weekend with this warm spell upon us, but I've got visions of Leschian and really picking up the pace. They put in a luge, and Big Dutch and Ely on the golf course, my sledding hill from being a kid. Oh, to go down that with an iced course, that would be a lot of fun. But again, ice will be thinning out here because we've got high temps for the next few days that'll run from 40 to even 53 degrees. In fact, our next precip chance on Tuesday may be straight up rain.
We'll see you at 10.